ago. I was still suffering from sciatica, and I couldn't even stand for more than 15 minutes. And that helps really put things in perspective. Nice little stretch. Usually it also uses opportunity to be loud and hype, but it's still 5, 6 in the morning. Still don't know if they can hear me through the walls, through the floor, but I don't want someone knocking on my door. That was terrifying. Maybe after this, I'll sit outside with a nice cup of coffee, my 3rd cup of coffee, and just watch the sunrise. Wouldn't that be beautiful? No, it's stupid. Outside is dumb. Watch more Starcraft. I think it's a fresh best of 3. That seems to be the consensus. The consensus of people not saying anything, which is always the best type of consensus. Yeah. In the bottom right, as the red Terran, it is Dream. In the top left, as the blue Protoss, it is Super. By the way, have you guys heard of Twitch Prime? It's a perk coming with Amazon Prime that allows you to sub to any streamer you like for free once a month. If you don't use it, it's just money down the drain. Use it. Use it. Use it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for the shilling, guys, in chat. Really appreciate it. Has anyone ever seen a boring parting game? That's a decent question. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good. I just love Korean Starcraft. I don't know. We don't even have, like, all of the super heavy hitters. There have been IEM qualifiers in the past where, like, there was Flash and Rogue and Roro and Tasia and Ryung and Rogue and Sue, and I can't remember everyone who ever existed, but point is, like, it was just the most stacked thing ever. And anyone would wake up at any time to be given the chance to cast these guys, which really was a chance because they would often go without you. But, you know, whatever. Nice defense against the Adept here. Realizing it could be a problem. But even without, like, all the guys who bring in the views, right? We have no Mara versus Rogue happening here. I don't know. I just love all these guys. I think it's super cool. The history they have. The play they show. And there's just something a bit endearing about waking up so early. I don't know. Almost like a nostalgic feeling. Back in the good old days, when I was doing exactly what Wardy is doing. Except Wardy's been doing it basically since he started casting StarCraft. He's always cast all the time, whatever he can. I think at the Hellion. He needs it for the defense, because he doesn't want to get a bunker. But unlike Wardy, I decided that I like being a regular human being and not casting all the flipping time. So... no more best of 69s for me, guy. How come O Gaming has so many viewers? I mean, the French StarCraft 2 community has always been big. I don't see how that's surprising. They've been very consistent casting everything StarCraft that they can for 10 years. And they're often very fun to watch, even as a non-English, non-French speaker, sorry. I mean, can someone explain why there's so many French StarCraft 2 fans? Can someone just write a quick essay for this guy about the history of StarCraft and its impact on the European, Western world? Just real quick, guys. Thank you. I'm just kidding with you. One of my job is going to be kind of denied here. Oh, that's a dangerous thing to do. Oh, no. Oh, super. Oh, it was a dangerous thing to do. Dangerous thing to do. Pulling the probes away, making the Stalkers chase the medevac away from the Widow Mines, letting one probe die each. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then he tried to kill them. And that was, oof, scary stuff. Loses a couple more probes than he really needed to. 5 in total so far. Dream with a good defense against the early harassment. Good harassment of his own. Continuing with the Liberator. Going back in with the Widow Mine already. And a Hellion. JK, that's what the Widowmine dropped. Good focus fire. That Widowmine was very close to having a second shot. Stalkers will hold against that weirder second drop. And a tank Marine combo will hold back at home. Liberator's looking towards that main base, though. Super not with a lot of units right now as he sends those Stalkers defending the natural forward. He really doesn't have a lot of units defending his bases. Is this really the good idea? Is it a good idea? I don't know. Here comes the Liberator. Here it comes. Pew. 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 Five probes dead right off the bat. Pretty nice. Lots of lost mining time. 6 probe went down. I don't know how this happened, but that's Super's on the other side of things. Dream, with a medevac, he kept alive. Pretty important here. It's gonna really help the Marines. Of course, Super has enough Stalkers to one-shot them, but
thank you for appeasing the overlord.
If he messes up, they get a second chance at life, and I think more importantly, he could try and micro the tank if that was focus fired. Super grabs what he can, loses the Observer, has a backup Observer, which Dream is not going to be able to scan. Third CC on the way, Super still on 2 bases, but coming forward here with the... He's actually pushing with this. This seems more like a push out of opportunity than it is something that he pre-planned coming into this game. I don't think I like it that much. Tank should focus right on top of the Colossus. Oh, I barely get that last shot. Barely as I get that last shot. He wants it so bad, too. Tries to go for the medevac drop. Instead loses the medevac drop. Both of them being a bit unnecessarily fancy, it feels. Like, did Super have to do that push into 3 tanks? Not so much. Did Dream have to lift up that medevac? Definitely not. Thank you very much, Wallaroo, for that Twitch Prime sub. I caught a guppy. Thank you. Do you have any strong feelings about the GSL groups? I actually have not looked at them yet, to be honest. Sorry. This game is like a lot more action than I would have expected. I mean, it's normal for the Stalkers to be out and about and pressuring and deciding to go for more Stalkers as opposed to an earlier third base. Like that happens, but to bring forward the Colossus as well is what making it's kind of spicy. Dream is just like always uncertain. Because usually if this happens and you didn't take any damage, this game's been pretty normal, you do deal with it somewhat casually. It's not really a particularly strong like timing. Like I was saying, it seems more like it was out of opportunity than it was like, this is what I'm gonna do. You know, like a 2 base, 2 Colossus all in or something like that. But it's been back and forth. There's been some, oh, I can take this on. Oh, wait, no, I can't. Oh, I can go after that Colossus. Oh, wait, no, I can't. So he is still got to be a little bit scared. And he never knows if the Warp Prism could be coming in and really having it dedicated to. This is the first time he's really going to get some scouting done. That a third Nexus is here and probes were built. So very uncertain times there for Dream. But now he has a better idea what's going on. Scan it to the main as well. Sees not a lot ready to defend, but 2 Colossus will absolutely take care of the Marines. The probe's still going to be targeted down. He has a better idea as to what to expect for the future as well, seeing, of course, Colossus in the robotics bay, researching, but actually that is not extended thermal lance. That is already done. Could he tell that that's War Prism speed? And also, wow, War Prism speed. I'm only really wowing at this. Wow. Because he's also going for double forge, which... This is a lot of minerals and gas to go into this build. Oh my god, it's so speedy. When you're already working with a low number of units, like it's scary to get a second forge with this. And then on top of that, you also get a somewhat unnecessary Warp Prism speed upgrade. Okay, interesting choice. But apparently it's going to work. That Warp Prism did come through. Drop off some Zealots, buy some more time. Dream has this nice supply lead, but he's not able to use it. He still has to get through the entire map to use it. He also probably still doesn't feel super comfortable against the Colossus, as his Viking count hasn't really ever grown. His Marauder count is good. His tank count is good. He could take a fight against the Colossus, but he's not actually moving out. Viking's here to push away the Warp Prism. Barely doesn't get the kill on it. But Dream's still not moving out. So Super is getting plenty of time to finish his 1-1 upgrades. Get a third Colossus here. 4th Colossus, my bad. 4th Colossus. Start his 2-2 and still feel comfortable. I really feel like Super should be punished in some way for this. But maybe he'll play this out correctly. Taking the fight early is not a bad idea. Not letting your zealots run forward unless he has that many zealots. There we go, a little bit better there. Although the concave also getting better for Dream, but his tanks aren't involved. Super wanted to, you know, shave off some of those Marines, especially with the Colossus fire. Marauders would live through it, but not the Marines. And force the tanks to siege up and besiege and all that good stuff. But this still is a very good supply lead for Dream. I feel like Super was, like, I'll explain it after the fight, maybe. Super taking okay fight there as Colossus doing a lot of damage. You know, 3 of them going to do a lot of work. More Stalkers being produced. 2 only halfway done. 4th Colossus is actually stalled out. He blinks on top of the Stalkers. Oh my god. He blinks on top of the tanks and the Marauders. And guess what? Guess what? You die when that happens. I don't see how that would have went any better. Maybe he was hoping that the bio was not going to stick around like it did. I don't know. That was a bold blink. So anyways, what I was going to say, but was worried the game would end, is that I feel like Super wasn't greedy enough in the early game and then was pretty greedy in the mid game. You know, like he delayed his 3rd Nexus doing that push that he did with the 2 Colossus and then decided, okay, I'll go for double Forge and War Prism speed. Which again just seemed like a very odd choice. So, oh, thank you, Super. So it's like if he had done all that in the beginning and it ended up being, you know, 10-minute game or whatever it was, like, okay, maybe he's fine, but all things considered, I don't think he did enough damage with the earlier attacks to then go into all those upgrades that he did and still defend against the Terran push like that. I don't know. Thank you, Shiva Blaster, for giving a sub to Boulder Riz. Olivia is telling them to wait, so I'm not sure what's going on. Thank you, Schnaz, for the 2-month resub. Much appreciated. Thanks for sticking with me. I really, like, what? I don't get the War Prism speed. The War Prism speed, like, a War Prism at the time that he used it is pretty effective even without speed. You know, at that point, Terran doesn't have any extra missile turrets. Not usually. They're trying to streamline their push. Maybe give them another 2 or 3 minutes and yeah, they'll have missile turrets surrounding their bases. But at that time, usually, and then I don't know what else you would get it for. I mean, if you wanted to come back and juggle his Colossus, that also still is done rather well with that War Prism speed. War Prism speed, unless you're getting disruptors and doing a push where the 2 go hand in hand, not a push like you know, the build, then okay, that exists. But War Prism speed otherwise is a more of a late game accessory. I'm harping a lot on something that ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, didn't seem to cost a lot, but to like put it in perspective, it's like it's very close to the getting that 4th Colossus out sooner. 4th Colossus is out, not stalled out by the depowering on the Robo. Does that change things? Maybe. Just seemed like an odd choice. Regardless, that was a fun game. Like, all things considered, the ending was a little bit one-sided, but like all things considered, that was a fun game. They both did not just sit back and do nothing. The Dream was rewarded for more so sitting back and just waiting and powering up. Chilla Empire could give us a very long game. In the top right, as the Red Terran, it is Dream. In the bottom left, as the Blue Protoss, it is Super. Super not looking so super. Some odd decision making just in that last game. You know, I don't have much to comment on for his macro or his micro. Actually, his micro was pretty good with the Stalkers, but you know, the Colossus push. It just didn't feel like. It didn't feel like a thing. I mean, it might actually be a thing. All right, someone's gonna come in here and be like, "That's the classic 2 Colossus push." I'm gonna be like, "Oh, okay," but it didn't feel like it. There are earlier Colossus pushes that are actually really difficult to deal with. But, well, I'm not sure what the build order is for the one I'm thinking about. The one that is scary, the one that catches you before you have Vikings, the one that catches you while you're defensive and your own choke, you can't get a concave type thing. Like, I don't think that was it. But, yeah, whatever. And then, yeah, again, the Warp Prism thing. Just very odd. Oh, well. And too bad he didn't get the 2-2. I mean, the 1-1 upgrade's probably worth the investment, so he could be equal with Dream, but also, what if he had just, like, delayed his 2-2? Figuring that a push was on the way, would that have also been just enough to help make it work? Maybe. SCV going for the scouts. Doesn't want to be forced to lift off his command center or hell get killed because something really cheesy is going down. This is a loser's bracket match, so whoever loses has to try again for the 3rd Korean qualifier, which I think is May 4th? I don't know. Again, they changed some of the dates around. Originally, there was a TSL qualifier on my birthday, but I think that changed. I always get the feeling pro gamers are penny-wise and pound-fools. What the heck does that mean? I've never heard that saying before. It's like being a penny pincher? That bunker not really working out so well. Can be a really annoying idea. It delays a lot of mining in that natural. You know, initially it's only 1 probe, not mining, and like, oh, big deal, and then suddenly it's 6 or 7. And you're like, oh, shit. But doesn't really get an opportunity to use it. Robo Twilight Council on the way. That is actually suspicious. It's gonna do the 4th gateway on the way. You know, I've seen the 4 gateway stalker Warp Prism build done 3 different ways so far. So I'm not 100% certain what the actual order of operations is, but this actually might just be a regular blink opener. Seems to be the case. Yeah, alright. Okie dokie then, never mind. As I said, like, I think the games I've watched were kind of like, oh, you know what, I will do it, so the 4th gateway comes out on an odder time than it should, but that 4 gateway blink thing has become more popular, it felt like, at least in the European and North American brackets, but I guess not in the Korean one. So, regular blink opener here. Getting the 3rd Nexus fairly quickly. Yeah, he is banking those minerals. Observer to cover the map, and there is that Wood of Mine drop. First thing Dream will do, into the 2 barracks, very typical, very standard. If you want to build for TvP, take this one for sure. 1 Wood of Mine denied. 2 Wood of Mines denied. Nice Observer placement. I think Dream realized what was going on, so he picked up that 1 Wood of Mine. Actually, really nicely done. Could have very easily just sacrificed all of that. Oh, he goes back in. Not going to work out, though. Observer only moved away for a hot second. Still saves the medevac. It does really suck that you get literally nothing with that. Usually it is a probe for a Widow Mine. But to get nothing, that's a little bit of an ouch. Raven actually coming out here. So this was a build that was... It was the go-to build for a hot second amongst all the Terrans. Then they started not getting the Raven. They just went right into the 3 barracks. Some had faster stim pushes. Some just did the typical stim, combat shields, and +1 push. But the Raven coming out. Maybe he's expecting a Colossus build from his opponent, considering last game. Ah! 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 Don't lose the Raven, you dummy. You big dummy. Okay, he's good. Every time he moved the Raven away, he moved it back. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. So dangerous. That is worth the loss of, I want to say, 3 Stalkers. I think that'd be worth if you get the snipe. Because I was saying that while it's very effective against Colossus, because the obvious interference matrix dynamic, it's is not ineffective against anything else. Anti-air missile against what Super is actually building, also pretty effective. Auto turret harassment, actually a pretty common thing for Korean Terrans to do, especially. Also kind of effective. They obviously don't have a Stargate to push it away. So taking that out is even better than taking out that medevac, which Super does. Good blink control. It's the one thing I gave him credit for in that last game. So glad to see it happening again. 1-1 is on the way. Very typical for this build for sure. There's the Colossus stuff last game where I was like, oh, that seems greedy. Third TC on location. Terrans have to do this. And the Stalker's continuing to buy that time, which Super does need to buy that time. His gateways are just finishing, not even. He's got a few more seconds on that. You see the army moving in, your gateway's finishing, and you're just like sweating all over the place. But he should be good now. Couple shield batteries, more than a couple cannons, actually just covering all of his bases. Literally covering all of his bases. But with the gateways finished, with 1-1 finishing, no army in sight, maybe a little bit worrying, but he's got an observer off to the left side to see if it's a drop. Super should be feeling very comfortable now. And Dream, I guess, just decides I can't actually hit any important push timing, so let's just take a chill pill. Thank you, Hoof It, for the 100 bits. Sneaky working at home. Shh. No one give him away. Is there a table of upgrades and how many hits for switch upgrades? Unfortunately, no. I think I did a couple of videos on like some important upgrade differences that give you like less shots to kill something, but some of those aren't even valid anymore. Like Adept versus Adept. Used to be important, hasn't been for a while. Medevac snipes have been going really well here for Super. They're not the most important thing, I guess, in this type of game where not much is oh my god, I take it back. Where not much is happening, and then he pulls the SCVs. That's actually a very odd SCV pull, because his third CC is literally finishing. Usually we at least see that finish, and then the SCV's pulled. But not in this game. Super, he is going into 2-2. He is playing more of the macro game, going to the 4th base. He's expecting the macro game. So if the SCV pull were to actually go off here, which he didn't mean to. That wasn't an SCV pull. Hold on, I'm just... Oh, okay, whatever. Engagement actually happening. Anti-armor missile plus an interference switches could come down in any one of these units. Go for the War Prism. He does. Exactly. Nicely done from Dream. Might just save his life here. He was having a tough time defending against this with more Zealots coming in. It could have been dead, but now I think he might just barely be able to hold. Just barely as more reinforcements come through here. But he's going to find himself behind unless he can take out everything here. And actually, that's going to happen. Concave comes in. Stalker's a little bit late to the warp in. Maybe they actually aggressively blink on top of this army. Well, the Immortals are down. Medevac's still available, trying to heal to the very last little itty bits of energy. And they are barely going to be able to push that back alongside some cool Marauder micro. That was damn close, but Super did end up losing not just the Immortals and the Sentries, which are the big ticket items, very expensive, take longer to build from that Robo than Gateways, right? But also a decent number of those Stalkers. You know, you replaced them, so he has the mobility, he has the ability to buy time in case Dream did have an opportunity to immediately counterattack, like the fight really went that poorly. But that can be a scary loss for the Protoss. Seems like Super's going to be okay. He does have 4 bases, he does have 2-2 finishing. If any more Stalkers had died, if that second round didn't come in, the War Prism died, type thing, then that's when he's probably in a very tricky spot, and Dream is immediately countering. As it is, Dream is just trying to defend, which is putting him into a tricky spot indeed, because he does not have the future in mind. Apparently the SCV pull was not legit. It was him trying to pull the SCVs to saturate his third, which got caught up with his army, maybe, something along those lines. But he still doesn't have anything to lead us to believe he is preparing for a macro game. He's got no armory, he's got no second starport, no 4th CC. Still dealing with a lot of harassment every which way, and this should be Super soon spiraling out of control. It hasn't happened yet, though. Dream, able to macro, decent number of workers, still calmly producing. He's actually preparing for what is usually a Colossus switch, so he's not actually wrong to be building Vikings, and I think it'll help against any Warp Prism play, obviously, but it's not there. Catch the Warp Prism without the Vikings anyways. Colossus aren't here. We're still talking about pure upgrades. Maybe some Archons eventually? Not even. Pure Gateway. And a couple of Immortals, but Ghost would have been the better option As I said, he's not really leading us to believe he's going for a longer game, yet here he is going for a longer game. Yet here it's happening, but just with nothing else on the production tab. Oh, then suddenly an explosion. It's like he heard me or something. Also an explosion of supply depots. Those are like a laser overlords. 7 depots at once. And the SCV pool. What is happening? This is when you slap down every single production. What? I don't understand. This is an odd game. I don't think Dream actually really had a concrete plan either. Kind of going with the flow, whatever he thinks is necessary. But aha, joke's on you. No SCVs to even kill on that third base. Gotcha. But the SCVs, oh, speaking of which, are stuck on the backside of the army. That is a beautiful anti-armor missile. That is a good one. Right in the heart of the army. And enough for a second one or a couple of interference matrix, especially on that War Prism, but maybe the Immortals as well. Upgrades are going to finish up here for Super. He's going to have 2-3-1, which is pretty good. Because Dream never got those additional upgrades, but damn, if he had a couple of ghosts, I feel like this would actually be in Dream's immense favor. But without the ghosts, even with the anti-armor missile, is he going to actually have enough? The anti-armor missile really quite effective, guys. Really helping with the upgrades advantage. And plus, he actually still isn't done. So Super helping here against the army of Super. But is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it. He takes out the 4th base, but there's a 5th. And Super still had way too many units. I think Dream just got caught in a weird scenario. Not as weird as when Bomber went one with upgrades with his factories, but kind of the same idea. Oh shit, I got scouted. Oh, I got pushed back. I didn't think the army was there. Whatever happened. Okay, maybe I'll macro. Actually, hold on, maybe I won't. Maybe I will. Oh god, I'm supply blocked. So maybe I will. Like, it just seemed like a lot of back and forth there. Thank you, Hurt One, for the 200 bits. How many bytes are these 200 bits? I don't know. 25. Good guess. I like this question. It'll buy me time, as the game still hasn't started yet. Serious question. Why do pros make so many stalkers against Marine, Marauder, Medevac? They're actually really good. You watch a straight-up Stalker versus Marauder battle with Medevacs. Obviously, they don't look as good. But there's a lot of things Stalkers do that shouldn't be underestimated. They can harass, they can scout, they can buy time, they can pick off units and still survive. They can basically just survive forever if you're really, really good. Because you'll blink them back away from the fights and just take trades. Because they'll lose units and you won't. Taking out Medevacs can sometimes look very unimportant. If they still have 6 left, if you killed 2, is it the most important? Maybe not. But in many professional games, we'll see the Medevac count actually matter. They do actually do a decent amount of damage, more than people give them credit for. When they have upgrades, when they're on the back line protected by Zealots. They used to literally be mini immortals. We had a patch where they just were kind of stupid and strong, and then they took them back. But they still are mini immortals that can actually be very effective in concaves. They're very, very useful. The only thing I could suggest is, like, watch games where similar openers happen to what Super was doing, and then watch bad players try and use Stalkers and control the map compared to a good one like Super. And then if you can, also try and do it yourself. And the better you get, the more confident you get with Stalkers, the more you'll see just how useful they are. Final game here. Still a losers match, so whoever loses, you're out. And still a ways to go to actually get into a qualifying match in the losers bracket. Not nearly as grueling as the North American, European brackets, but still a longer process. In the bottom left is the red Terran, it is Dream. In the top right, as the blue Protoss, it is Super. Is the esport category on Twitch new, or was I blind before? You were blind and then you were healed. Nah, it's new. Hot diggity damn. Hot diggity damn. Hayadi. Hayadi. Yeah. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs. This guy was Link coming in to my house, breaking all my pots and getting all the rupees. But then he was like, you know what? You can keep the rupees. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, 400 subs. 406, right? Nailed it. Oh, and also thank you for your sub. I think I might have missed that. Thank you. Because why the hell not? I like that reasoning. That should be a motto for everyone in life. Why not eat 20 chili peppers in one sitting? Exciting. Such exciting days. Oh my good gosh. Hope you guys enjoy the subscription. Make sure to give a thank you if you got one. And then, if you didn't get one, cry out injustice. Alright, so Proxy Pylon is on the way here. Super could be committing more to warping in soccer. Oh, wait, no. Nope. Yeah,
subscription
wait.
Received. Apparently
DT?
you are doing something right, Captain.
DTs? 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 Yeah. I was like, hold on here. He doesn't have extra gateways. He isn't starting Blink. He was waiting for that pylon to finish, so the extra gateways are apparently going to come down in proxy. That's actually a little suspicious. Okay, one gateway's going to... Okay, alright. That's less suspicious. Blah, blah, blah. Because while it's typically 3 gateways with the build that Super was doing last game, like he did, he went 3 gateways, 2 gateway versions have certainly popped up. So if Stream were to get into the main base and see a second gateway, but no third, it's not really that suspicious. If he saw the Twilight Council not researching, like, literally right now, he might be like, hold on. But he's not going to be able to see it because there's a wall. This is very dirty by Super. Very dirty. Thank you, Carl Fishy, for the 9-month resub. Medevac drop is... Medevac drops can see the Dark Shrine. I said that's so weird. They can see the Dark Shrine, but... only if they literally can't see it. And oftentimes they see it when it's literally hitting, which doesn't give you a lot of time to prepare. Good professional Terrans, though, are generally holding on to a DT time scan, exactly what we see here, which is around 4:30 to 5 minutes. Now, he sees a lot of nothing in the main base with the Wood Mines, and I think he's alerted to the fact that something is on the way. Now, of course, he knows it's DTs. He, unfortunately, I just gave him credit for holding on to that scan. I'm so sorry. That was my bad. I cursed him. He used a scan. That really sucks, because he would have had 2. Pretty perfectly timed. If he did not mule. He might be able to catch 2 DTs for the price of 1 scan. He does. He does. Nicely done. Not too many workers were lost. Yeah, not too many. There's quite the investment to go into DTs. The good news is, even if your DTs don't necessarily do the most damage, they are a constant threat to the Terran player. Detection is only one part of actually defending against them, but the amount of time it's taken, 7 SCVs, 2 scans, it's okay. I'd be worried if Super did absolutely nothing else to keep Dream back at home, but it's very likely he'll actually have something else to do. Blink Stalkers, well, a ways away. We saw he was good with them last game, and DTs can just keep a Terran back home. Even with a Raven, even with missile turrets, they just are a constant threat. I like the follow-up. We do have a robotics bay on the way. Could be for disruptors, but might just be for the very dependable Colossus. Third Nexus on the way as well. Keeping tabs on the army as much as possible. Not the Raven is going to be out. It's more difficult to do so, but we do have an observer, and DT. So should know exactly when the push out happens. Try and get the DT in. Try and buy some time. Chrono out that Colossus and hold on for dear life. That's the plan. Raven does catch the DT, so its job was just to scout, which is not exactly a good job. It wanted to try and buy some more time, get a couple more SUVs. I am getting more worried for Super. That Raven obviously has the power to take out one Colossus, and that's a lot of what he's depending on until Blink is done, until more units get warped in, basically. Just generally, he has more units. But it looks like finding the proxy is going to buy a little bit more time for him. Absolutely worth it for the Terran to take out, of course. Now he doesn't have to worry about DTs at all, nor quick proxy warp-ins of Adepts to bother him. He can now focus entirely on the push. He takes out an Observer as well. Things are looking pretty good for Dream, but Super looking a lot better. He's warped in a handful of Zealots. He's got his sentries with force fields, and his Stalkers do have Blink, so he can continue trying to buy time. I think he should be feeling very confident. 2 Colossus instead of 1. Now, they both can still be Interference Matrix, but it's getting scary. It's still scary, rather. It's getting less scary as time goes on. 3rd Colossus would make a big difference. Shield batteries also would make a big difference, and they are finishing up here. Charge +1 on the way. That is the first +1? Yeah. So Dream will have an upgrade advantage. Little bit of a drop. Tiny little drop into the main. Just enough to force in a couple of warp-ins or kill about a dozen probes.
Thank you for becoming a member.
Dream is on no 3rd CC. Yeah, okay, he's pulling the SCVs. Alrighty then. Dream does not want to play a longer game against these Protoss guys. He's going to take the opportunity, having to unload his Marines, try and get the pylon. Not going to work out, but 5 Stalkers over here not scouting this. His Raven would have confirmed that this wasn't scouted. Super wanted to buy more time, get force field on this ramp, for instance, but now he's got the force field over here, which isn't really... There's such a concave available. Force fields don't really help too much. He does kind of bait out an Interference Matrix. Kind of. Like, that was still one to use because he was being fired on, but hopefully now it's not all 3 Colossus being Interference Matrix. It's just 1 or 2. Charge is still going to finish up here. He's going to try and buy more time for more shield batteries. Those tanks are slowly encroaching, however. He has no DTs to try and really take out the economy. Dream is still able to produce a tank, a couple Marauders at a time. I don't know about that going forward. If it wasn't for the 2nd tank shot and that Wood Mine shot, it might have been worth it, but it seemed a bit too costly. Super working on that +1. Is not going to have it for this defense, but Zealot's coming from the left side. War Prism as well. I don't know what you're doing exactly. Pull it back, and oh no, 2 Medivacs with units inside. Unload them, you fool! Unload! He unloads, but after like 5 seconds, that might be 5 seconds too much. 3 Colossus, the anti-armor missile is getting jumped on by Marauders. 2 of them go down, but the last one might just be able to survive here as the Marauders get very, very low on that health. The tank's trying its best to help out against Zealots, but it is not where it is used ideally. And Dream's attack, I don't think worked. A 2nd Colossus is on the way. +1 is finishing. Shield batteries are out of juice, however, in the... Oh, we actually got the Colossus. But there's so many Stalkers now, and they are very effective in these scenarios where they can focus fire down these units. Dream trying to reinforce desperately, trying to get some Vikings as well with a very limited economy he has back at home. But, yeah, I think Super did too good of a job here. And Stalkers, I think, are the right call. Even with a tank now available, that gets instantly sniped. Dream is out of luck. The SCV pool did not work. A bit of an aggressive blink forward. Going to try and take advantage of it with the Marauders as best he can. But the medevac count now getting very, very low. All of them now gone. The Vikings have to land to help out, but there is a Colossus back at home. Super is feeling very confident right now, as he should. This game's his. Scream is gonna have to try it once again in next week's qualifier. Thank you, Manifesto7, for the tier 1 sub. At the end of that game. GG. Super.